This is the next video in our series Factful Fridays, and the fact for today is what's the schooling system here in Canada. So if you are a family moving with kids in here and you're worried about how the schooling system works in here, then stay tuned till the end. Hi guys, welcome back to our channel Right Turn to Canada. I hope all you guys are doing great. First of all, happy Valentine's Day to all of you. I know this video is going to be aired on a different day, maybe one day after Valentine's Day, but much love to you all, and may you find love everywhere you go in life. And today the topic for this video I've chosen is what I've been asked so many times by many people who are moving here with their kids, and they're worried about how they're gonna settle and how their kids are gonna settle in here in schools. So I thought that let me share some information about schooling system in here. My daughter is very young, so I've not had the first-hand experience with the schooling in here, so I've tried to gather information from a couple of sources for you guys, and I hope that it'll help. I would basically be talking about the schools in Ontario, although schooling all over Canada is basically the same, but because the schooling is responsibility of the provincial government, so the education might differ in some of the provinces a little bit here and there, but I am typically speaking about the education system in schools in Ontario. So there are basically two kinds of schools here in Ontario. One is the public schools, another are the private. The public school, as it's clear from the name, are what you essentially call free because they are funded by provincial funds, or they're funded by the government, although I wouldn't say that it's technically free because you're in a way paying for them through your taxes, but there is no direct fee for enrolling your child in the public schools, so you can say that it's free. And the other kinds of schools here are the private schools, which work on similar curriculum as public schools, but they are totally separate entities. Their whole functioning and their everything is totally different from public schools. I would mainly be talking about public schools because more than 90% of the people do prefer sending their kids to public schools for obvious reasons. So the whole education of a child is divided into three or two parts, as you may say. I would say three parts, because first is the elementary education or the elementary schools that run from kindergarten to grade 5. Then there are middle schools that have grade 6 to grade 8, and then there are high school or secondary schools that are from grade 9 to grade 12. It's imperative here to send the child to school or to send him for formal education after age of 6, but you can send the child to kindergarten when the child turns 4. So kindergarten is usually a 2-year program, but that's totally optional. It's compulsory for the child to go to school at the age of 6. So just to give you guys a basic idea of how the public schools are, there are two kinds of public schools. One are the English language schools and other are the French language schools. As is clear from the name, the English language schools have English as their major mode of instruction. However, as I would discuss later in the video, they also do teach French, but the French language schools, in French language schools, the 100% mode of instruction is French. The English language schools are also of two kinds in here. One is the common public schools and the other are the Catholic schools. So the major difference between these schools is that for Catholic schools, if you want to enroll your child up to grade 8, that is from kindergarten to grade 8, then they only accept kids of Catholic parents, and they do ask for proof of baptism or something like that. And if you want to enroll your child after grade 8, that's from grade 9 to grade 12, that's, as I said, high school or secondary school, then any child can get enrolled in a Catholic school. However, for public schools, anybody who just resides in the neighboring area of the school that the school covers into their region, they can get admission in that public school. So that's all about the kinds of schools in here, or how the schooling system is divided. Now let's talk about admissions. Now, a typical session here or typical school year begins here in first week of September. That's usually first Monday of September, and it ends end of June. However, if you're moving here from another country, it's not necessary that you have to enroll your child in September only. It doesn't matter if you land here in November or December, they would give you admission in the public school that's near to your place of residence. So they have to do that. The kids go to school from Monday to Friday, and the timings are usually morning to afternoon, usually 8 to 3 or 9 to 4, depending upon different schools. So each district has their own school board, and for admissions you have to call or contact your local district school board. For example, for the region of Brampton, Mississauga and Caledon, it is Peel District School Board. So you have to contact them. They will tell you that which school falls in your neighborhood. Usually what happens is that there is one school for one neighborhood, and you do not have an option to send your kid to another school just because you like that school. So if there's a particular school designated for your neighborhood, for your area, for where you're residing, you can only send your child to that particular school. That is one big reason that when people are moving from one place to another, or they're buying their houses, or they're choosing their place of residence, they do consider looking at the rankings for the schools and choosing which school they want to send their child in, and they choose their place of residence accordingly, because you don't have much of an option there. If you're coming here from another country and you want your kids to get enrolled in school, then after landing here, I would suggest that you contact the district school boards, or you go to a welcome center. They would see which neighborhood are you residing in, and they would automatically enroll you in the designated school for your area. They might look at some of the credentials that the kids have got from your own country, from their past, like they might assess those credentials to see which class or which grade is good for your child. But normally they do only look at the age, and based upon the age criteria, they enroll the child in the grade that he's supposed to go in. There's another good thing, that if you're moving here from another country and you think that your child is not very comfortable in English language, or if they think that your child is lacking certain skills, then they would automatically, after enrolling your child into the school, and after your child starts going to the school, they will give him some special assistance classes in whichever areas he requires more assistance in. So the teachers would devote some extra time, extra than his or her regular school hours, and they would devote some more time to develop those skills. As I told you in the beginning, that schooling here in Canada is compulsory from grade 1 to grade 12. So after the age of 6, it's compulsory, but it's optional. If you want to send your child to kindergarten, then you can get him enrolled in school at the age of 4 or 5, which is, kindergarten is usually a 2-year program that prepares your child for going to school, because the formal kind of schooling starts in grade 1. Although I would say that most of the studies in here, especially in the elementary school and kindergarten, is play based, so kids are not really into cramming things or too much of written work as we do in India, or maybe most of Asia as we are used to. So it's a different form of education. It's a mix of Montessori, the ancestral form. So kids are learning as they're growing and playing. So kindergarten, as I was saying, is optional. If you go for the usual daytime course, that's the daytime regular hours, the kindergarten is free. This is the question many parents have. It's different from a daycare. A daycare is paid. The kindergarten starts at 4 or 5 years, but if you go for the regular school hours, it is free. However, you can also opt for full day kindergarten programs, which include before and after school programs. So in case you're working and your work starts at 7 or ends at 5 or 6, the school is going to be from 8 to 3 only. So then you will have to register for before and after school programs. So the fee for before and after school programs is to be paid by the parents. However, the regular school hours for kindergarten are free. One thing that your kids might find interesting or intriguing is that there is no uniform in public schools. However, private schools usually do have their own uniforms. So basically for the parents, everything is totally free. You just have to buy your kid a backpack and a lunch box, because lunch kids usually take from home. It's not provided in the school unlike the daycare. So you just have to pack the lunch for your kids, give them a water bottle, give them a backpack, and off they go. Stationery and everything, books and everything that they're using at school, it's given to them, provided to them in the school, and you don't have to buy anything. Of course, if you have to buy certain books for them to come home and engage in some activities, you have to buy them on your own. But for the school, everything is provided by the school and it's paid for. As far as transportation is concerned, even the school buses are paid for by the government. You don't have to pay any fee for those. Every district has certain limitations. For example, I was just going through the website for the Peel School District Board. So they have that if you're living beyond 1.5 kilometers for kindergarten students, then the bus service is free. And then similarly, if you're living beyond 2 kilometers for grade 1 to 4 or something like that, so it's usually around 1.5 to 2 kilometers. If you're living beyond that area from school, then you can register for the school bus and you don't have to pay anything for that. The schooling is very safe here in public schools because there are almost always a few volunteers who are volunteering for making sure that the kids are moving safely into the school premises. Many of the kids who live in the nearby area walk on their own without even their parents being with them to the school, and there you would see on every intersection during the school opening and closing hours near the school, near every intersection near the school, you would find volunteers there who would be regulating the traffic, making sure that the kids are safely moving into the school premises and moving out of them in the afternoon. Now, another important thing that could be important for you is that Canada is a bilingual country. So it has two official languages, English and French. So it is imperative for the students in here to learn French from grade 8 to grade 12, and they have to have certain French credits in secondary school as well. However, even if your child is going to the English language schools, French learning is compulsory. So there are 3 different programs for choosing French as a language. One is the core French program in which French is only taught as a subject. Then you can also choose for extended French programs in which your kid is taught French as a subject, plus it's also a mode of instruction for at least one more subject. And then the third option is the French immersion, if you want your child to be well versed with French, because French is very helpful in here. If you have good French knowledge, you can go for any government jobs, and a lot of good positions in here do require a solid foundation of French. So if you want, you can also send your kid to French immersion school or French immersion program. In that, French is taught as a separate language, and also it's the mode of instruction in 2 or more subjects. So this is pretty much everything that I could gather today for all you guys to make an informed decision about schooling. I do hope that this video is going to be helpful for all the worried parents who are moving here in coming months. If you've liked this video, then do not forget to hit the like button, and if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, do hit the subscribe button. Do like our page on Facebook, that's by the name Right Turn to Canada, and also follow us on Instagram for more of our updates. Okay. Keep watching, keep supporting, keep loving, and enjoy your Valentine's Day with your loved ones. And until I see you next time, bye bye and take care.